From South Carolina Public Radio, this is the South Carolina Lede. I'm your host, Gavin Jackson, and this episode was recorded on July 25th, 2025 from South Carolina Public Radio Studios here in Columbia. We're going to start off with a programming note. High alert, snake alert right here.
Snake alert.
We are in the dog days of summer.
Snake alert.
A lot of sound effects right out of the gate. And we are letting you know that we will be gone, GONE, until August 12th. So we are off until we come back and fill your ears on August 12th. So if you got time, if you need to catch up on things, we're kind of giving you space to do that. We're going to park it that way, yeah? We're holding space for you. So there will be no pod that first week of August. It's August. Regular programming will return just for the week of the 12th because we'll be bringing you some special episodes for the subsequent 2 weeks after the 12th since we'll be once again on the road. So it's our little August recess. You guys are used to this. Congress is doing it. We're doing it. It's August. We're like Europeans. We kind of deserve it. But since we're going to be gone and you're going to miss me, I'm going to do a lot of talking on this episode. Hey, calm down. I know. You're going to hear my voice. Yeah, I know. Okay, we'll do more of them, okay? No, okay. But on this episode of The Lede, a new contender enters the governor's race. Congressman Ralph Norman. We also pivot to some big statewide news of this week dealing with infrastructure issues, small bridge collapse, and a death from a brain-eating amoeba earlier this month. Scott Morgan also has a report on how the so-called Big Beautiful Bill, now law, will affect SNAP benefits in our state and much more. Now, as you'll have time to reflect and think over the coming days while we're not here, use that time to call us. 803-563-7169 and say, hey, get back to work. Don't take that personal time off, that paid time off. Get back to work, guys. You're always got to be working. 803-563-7169 is the number you can call it to say, what are you doing, Gavin and AT? You think you're better than me? We'll find out. We'll talk to you in the wind down. 803-563-7169. Give us some travel stories. Maybe you're out and about as well. We'd love to hear from you. All right, let's start off with some politics. Our good friend Meg Kennard at the Associated Press reports, exclusively I should say, that 5th District Republican Congressman Ralph Norman is entering the 2026 governor's race as expected.
2026 watch.
Yes, we've been talking about this. We'll be at his special announcement on Sunday. Yes, a Sunday. See, I'm still working on the weekends, guys. But we'll be there. This is something that we've been talking about for a while, but Meg got this on the record and scooped everyone else for it. That's what happens when you're national, baby. Now, Norman, who is 72, is a member of the far-right House Freedom Caucus and has found himself as a key vote in the middle of major situations spanning government shutdowns, spending debates, and speaker elections of the past. That's leverage he's used to get rules changed, among other things. Now, Norman has held that seat since a special election in 2017 following the resignation of Mick Mulvaney after he was confirmed by the U.S. Senate to lead the Office of Management and Budget in Trump's first administration. We talked about that in Tuesday's pod, just giving you a little refresh here.
Thank you.
Now, what could be a liability for Norman is his past endorsement of former Governor Nikki Haley in the 2024 presidential primary. Norman is a longtime friend of Haley's, having served with her in the state House of Representatives. However, once she dropped out of the race, Norman endorsed Trump and has always been supportive of the president's past and current agendas. Because as we know, in the governor's race, where there's a lot of people in it now, it's going to be even more crowded. They're all vying for President Donald Trump's endorsement. It's a key endorsement to get. TBD on whether he'll give it. He's kind of busy. He's kind of got things on his plate. But York County Senator Wes Clymer is a name that's been floating around for the 5th District race after Norman jumps in the governor's race. Now, Norman is set to be the 4th person to jump in the race, like we said, very busy, behind Attorney General Alan Wilson, Spartanburg Senator Josh Kimbrell, and Lieutenant Governor Pam Evett. Who's your favorite? You guys got a favorite yet? Don't tell me. We got months and months of this. Don't tell me. Next up, and sticking with campaign trail possibilities, 8th Circuit Solicitor David Stumbo, who is a lifelong Republican and criminal prosecutor, has filed an initial campaign disclosure report showing over $67,000 raised in a 24-hour period to explore a run for attorney general. You guys thought I was going to say governor, right? No. Explore. So South Carolina law requires all candidate committees to file an initial disclosure report after they raise or spend $500. He's raised $67,000. Now, this came in an email from Michael Moulet, who is with Upstart Strategies, that said that the report reflects a striking surge in early enthusiasm and kicks off an exploratory period when Stumbo will travel the state, meet with voters, and continue raising support in compliance with state law. That's what Michael Moulet said in an email. Now, Stumbo himself is quoted as saying, quote, "This is not a decision I take lightly, and over the coming months, my family and I will continue to prayerfully consider how I can best serve the state I love." Now, Stumbo currently serves as solicitor for the 8th Judicial Circuit, which includes Abbeville, Greenwood, Lawrence, and Newberry counties. We're talking upstate, baby. He's a career criminal prosecutor and a former assistant attorney general. Now, Stumbo says his final decision will happen after Labor Day.
Tick-tock, Mr. Wick.
Tick-tock. So far, only Georgetown Republican Senator Stephen Goldfinch has announced a run for the state attorney general spot, being vacated by Alan Wilson, who was running for governor. Speaking of governor, Governor Henry McMaster was on a trade mission to Germany. Jawohl. He delivered the keynote address at the German-American Chamber of Commerce Business Conference in Munich on Thursday, Bavaria. Oh, the places BMW will take you. Actually, we have a lot of German companies in our fair states, so we have a great relationship with Deutschland. I actually am part German myself. You probably know that I've been to Munich myself as well as Berlin. It's hard to have a favorite. I have lederhosen. I know, you don't care. But these are just the little Easter eggs, as they keep the little Easter egg. Oh, I got a question for Gavin. Where's the lederhosen? But you guys hear a lot of this talk about so-called alligator Alcatraz down in Florida, that immigration detention facility located in the Florida Everglades. There's even talk among South Carolina Republicans about wanting to build a similar facility in our state. A Palmetto prison, some would say. I'm not giving you any ideas here. But with that being said, there is a price tag to such a facility, and it ain't cheap. The Associated Press reports that Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' administration has inked contracts up to $245 million already to set up and run the facility, which will cost taxpayers $450 million to operate annually. $450 million annually. The AP notes that state officials say at least some of the costs will be covered by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, which is best known for responding to hurricanes and other natural disasters, but is also on the way to being defunded under the Trump administration. But in court documents filed earlier this month, the AP reports that attorneys for the Department of Homeland Security stated that the federal government had yet to reimburse Florida for any of the costs. The department made clear that Florida is constructing and operating the facility using state funds on state lands under state emergency authority. I don't hear a lot of federal there. A lot of state. So just a significant part of the budget, something to think about when you hear folks saying South Carolina should build and operate a similar facility. We're like right at $500 million a year. But, you know, they got the reconciliation bill passed, so we'll be seeing some money going through that bill, that law. We'll see. And meanwhile, here at home, bridges are collapsing in our state. Yes, a headline you never want to hear, especially on what is basically an infrastructure podcast. The bridge on Crow Creek Road in Pickens County was damaged and closed on July 21st, according to the State Department of Transportation. This doesn't happen every day, folks. Some bridges are closed, but this was damaged. This was kind of a big deal. And this 57-year-old bridge was already load restricted, like many across the state, meaning that heavy vehicles and loads weren't permitted to pass. However, not everyone like you and me follows the rules. Because that's exactly what happened here.
I'm sorry, what?
Causing a portion of the bridge to fall out into the river per DOT and law enforcement, stating that an overweight truck, we're going to shame this one because he's not supposed to be on the bridge, caused the damage. The bridge, which was previously inspected this year, was listed in fair condition and is scheduled for replacement this year. SCDOT says design for the bridge is being finalized and construction is expected to begin soon, lasting until early 2026. Now, this comes weeks after a tanker truck fire on Interstate 20 near Aiken caused a portion of the old Vaucluse Road bridge to collapse. Now, SCDOT crews demolished that entire bridge span and reopened the interstate 36 hours after that June 14th accident. Right after we left the lead taping, I'll have you know. After we had left Aiken, that bridge replacement will be expedited along with the one in Pickens County. Now, you will remember that state lawmakers again appropriated an additional $200 million, which is less than one half of one alligator Alcatraz, in one-time dollars to update and rebuild bridges across the state. Everyone complaining about conditions on roads and bridges, guys. The money's going, it's flowing, but it takes time. Now, this $200 million supplements the annual $239 million that the agency dedicates to the replacement program. As a part of DOT's strategic 10-year plan, the agency has construction underway or completed on 416 bridges and is on track to complete the 530 bridges outlined in the 10-year plan. That's a lot of bridges, guys. Now, this additional funding allows SCDOT to accelerate and expand the bridge program beyond goals identified in that plan. We're talking about 119 bridges that will be replaced or repaired, and 109 of those projects are already underway. And I'd say one sounds like it's inadvertently already underway more so than it already was going to be up in Pickens County. Moving on, the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill, or Mega Bill, that Congress passed and President Trump signed into law on July 4th is already reverberating across the state, much like our sound effects for mega. According to the South Carolina Gazette, a provision in the Republican law that barred Medicaid reimbursements to Planned Parenthood for 1 year took effect in South Carolina on Monday. Another reverberation has to do with food assistance that thousands of families in South Carolina receive. SC Public Radio's Scott Morgan has this report on those benefit cuts.
By some estimates, cuts to food assistance under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act could mean that as many as 59,000 families in South Carolina lose some or part of their SNAP benefits. That's based on analysis by Urban Institute, and that includes 48,000 families with children and 43,000 working families.
Do you receive SNAP benefits?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How long have you been getting it?
For 12, I think, 15 months. Yeah, 15 months.
I met Quasinia Weaver and her 3 small children at the Dorothy Day Soup Kitchen in Rock Hill. They were there for the daily lunch service.
Are you concerned about cuts coming to the SNAP program?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How much might you stand to lose,
I know every month, like $345 every month.
In case that wasn't clear, Weaver gets $345 a month in Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program money. She doesn't yet know whether that will drop. She does know that she spends about $300 a month on just food. And if she loses even some of her SNAP assistance, she's worried about having to spend more of her own money on food and setting other basics aside.
And I won't be able to go wash clothes like I am now. And it's not by my daughters what they need and stuff like that, so it'll hurt me real bad.
At the moment, Weaver is out of work. She was working at a Pizza Hut and says she is trying to find another job to deal with her own personal situation. Her calculus, though, trying to figure out the real impact of so many abstract and gigantic numbers in the reconciliation bill, that's more universal.
I'm not a doomsdayer. I don't like approaching anything from that perspective because I don't think it's helpful. But I am looking at it from math.
This is Erin Rowe, CEO of Harvest Hope in Columbia.
There's a percentage of a population that's currently utilizing these benefits to feed themselves. It's about to be turned off. So they still have to eat because they're humans. My guess is they're not getting a pay raise and or any kind of income difference with this turnoff. So there's still no money left to buy food.
Food assistance agencies all over the state right now are trying to figure out what they will have and what they will not. And they're trying to imagine how the state might be able to pick up some of the slack. The South Carolina Department of Social Services does administer the Healthy Bucks program, which is safe from reconciliation bill cuts and which helps food recipients pay for things like fresh produce.
If you, as a SNAP user, put in $5 towards the purchase of fruits and vegetables, DSS will put in another $15.
Ome Salma Rahemtullah is the executive director of Food Share South Carolina. And that $5 contribution she's talking about goes to a $20 fresh food box. for folks who don't always have an extra $5.
$5 is a struggle for some folks, right? There's no way that if you're losing your SNAP that you're replacing that produce box with $20 cash.
And Rahimtullah is worried that without the ability to buy fresh produce, SNAP recipients will turn to the cheap, ultra-processed foods sold in gas stations and dollar stores in a state that already is one of the least healthy in the country. Ro and Rahimtullah both expect an uptick in traffic to food banks. So does Susan Dolphin, Executive Director of Hope in Lancaster, who's already watching it happen.
We've doubled the number of people that have been coming here for food since February.
While people receiving SNAP help will have to figure out how to adjust to a potential drop in food assistance, food banks are similarly calculating a drop in money for TFAP, the Emergency Food Assistance Program that helps food banks buy food, and which could lose $100 million nationally by 2034.
SNAP and TFAP go hand in hand. If they're not going to get the SNAP, and then we're also not going to get the TFAP, that is where there's going to be a bigger relying on the communities to support smaller food pantries like ours to make sure that everybody has meals.
Something that bothers Aaron Rowe and Ome Salma, Rahimtullah, and Susan Dolphin is politics, the kind that frequently show up in election races in discussions about food aid.
It's this way these 4 years. Nope, we're ripping the Band-Aid off. We're going to autocorrect. There's no place in time or space to just see if things work, ever.
Dolphin says it would help if office holders stopped using the word constituent.
I hear all the time, my constituents. Okay, what about your neighbor? Do you know what your neighbor's situation is? Do you know how many of your neighbors that are in need? Do you know how many of your neighbors that are choosing to have 1 meal a day instead of 3 meals a day? Do you know how many of your neighbors are just hoping to be able to pay their bills at the end of the month?
And Rahimtullah reminds that while she's trying to stay optimistic, it's tough for her to see how a program like SNAP can never really bounce back.
It takes a second to destroy something, and it takes years to rebuild it. So I think it will be rebuilt, but we will fundamentally lose a lot.
Cuts to SNAP begin in fiscal 2027.
Thanks, Scott. You can find that reporting and more at southcarolinapublicradio.org. And on the way out, we have some tragic news that has dominated the headlines across the state this week involving the death of a young boy due to a rare brain-eating amoeba. Mayan Schechter has been covering this story for South Carolina Public Radio this week, and it focuses on the State Department of Health saying it was notified of one case of Naegleria fowleri, often called a brain-eating amoeba, in the state during the week of July 7th. Jason Carr, who was a student at Columbia's Hand Middle School, died on July 18th after contracting the rare but almost always fatal Naegleria fowleri while swimming in Lake Murray. The family's attorney, Tyler Bailey, said in a Facebook post on July 24th that, quote, Jason was a bright and beloved student at Hand Middle School. His loss is unimaginable, and our hearts are with his family as they grieve their son and search for answers, quote. Now, it is South Carolina's first case this year and the state's first case since 2016, so incredibly rare. So rare that nationwide only 167 cases have been reported in the past 62 years. This according to the CDC. Naegleria fowleri is a free-living amoeba that lives in warm, fresh water such as lakes, rivers, ponds, and hot springs, according to the CDC. Now, the CDC said it's often called a brain-eating amoeba because it can infect the brain and destroy brain tissue. So again, a tragic story, but one that is incredibly rare. Just be mindful of where you're swimming. Welcome to the wind down section. Our little break from the news. We're glad you're here, along with A.T. Shire, lead podcast producer.
Oh, hello. Hello, everyone.
He's here. How's it going, A.T.?
Oh, it's going really well, Gavin.
Yeah?
And I have a dispatch for you from my father. He said to specifically tell you this.
Did he really?
Yes.
Oh.
So he told me that on Sunday he caught some of Twisk. He goes, I saw Gavin interviewing that history guy. I go, Ken Burns? He goes, exactly that one, Ken Burns.
Yeah.
And before anything registered, before he could register that it was Ken Burns or anything, he goes, I couldn't stop thinking and noticing that Gavin wasn't wearing socks. And he was so hung up about this. I go, yeah, that's Gavin's thing, Dad.
Did you explain how this is?
I then explained to him how you not wearing socks has had years of traction.
Yes.
And so I said, he's just new
And
to the party.
attraction, and we're going
Correct.
to leave it at that.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. And so, like I said, yeah, we've had years of engagement on this topic,
I
Dad.
mean, I'm doing it just to keep people fresh.
Yeah, and he went on to say, well, if Gavin ever wants to make it big time network show, he's going to need to put some socks on.
Yeah, well, guess
Wolf
what?
Blitzer socked up.
News flash. I don't want to be in a corporate network prison, and nor do my feet. Okay? So thank you, but no thank you.
So he'll be pleased that I mentioned that. He goes, you got to tell him. You got to tell him.
I love that.
I love that he's trying to shadow produce the wind down by telling me what I have to talk about.
Well, I mean,
But
it's a family affair. I mean, look at Rena does the same thing.
Yeah. So
No, I mean, I get it. It was Charleston in May. It was hot.
socks are just adding.
I play by my own rules.
First off, what you need to know about me, brother, is I play by my own
This
rules.
has been a huge point of contention within
to do.
with HR back and forth. I can't say anymore. No, I'm just kidding.
There are suits. That's all we can say. There are suits.
There are suits and settlements, but let's just say I'm coming out on top. And that's funny because I get the same kind of looks in judgment. I'm going to use the word judgment.
Body
which is
shaming.
fine. Body shaming my ankles. When I'm like, this happened to me at the State House years ago. I'm not going to name the senator who was later indicted. I was in the Senate antechamber and I had my legs crossed and like my ankle was very prominent at that point, wearing loafers. And
It's an alpha
this one
move.
senator said, "Oh, do you need a pair of socks? I got some in my car." You know, just indicating that I am just disrupting the decorum
Yes,
of this
correct.
sacred chamber. And I mean, no, I said, no, thank you. No, thank you for the offer.
Thanks,
Get to know
no
that you have
thanks.
socks laying around. But yeah, especially in the summertime, it's hot. I get some good loafers. I mean, if people are wearing those, I know it might be a little casual, but I think it's, hey, at least I'm wearing shoes with this here.
I think it's stylish.
And it's very rare that you get to see my feet.
I think if any
For legal
time
purposes.
that you if any time you can be yourself and have your own style,
Yeah.
I'm for it. You
Exactly.
know?
I mean, you're wearing a suit, so it's already kind of uniform, but then you pop the ankle, everyone
You
loses their mind.
pop the ankle, they lose their
But
mind,
then
including my dad.
And
My
then I
dad's
see
one of
people,
them.
I see guys wearing loafers with socks. I'm like, then just wear a shoe at this point.
Correct.
The advantage for me, besides being able to cool my body better via the
Cool.
ankles, is that
Where scientifically most of the heat leaves the ankle. Okay, I think that's true. We'll have to check that.
I can put my pants on and my shoes on at the same time and buckle my belt without having to bend down.
Oh.
And put a sock on and then tie the shoe that I'm imprisoning my foot in.
I'm so happy you brought this up. I've been doing a weird thing, okay? I've been
here we
doing
go.
a weird thing where this was unplanned that we're talking about. I have been going sock, shoe, not sock, shoe,
shoe,
shoe. So I've been, I know it's strange and it is weird, but so I'm sitting there fully socked and shoed and then barefoot other foot until I get to the next one.
Oh, stop it. Okay. Well,
It's wrong. I know it's wrong, but it does save time. It is faster.
I think I might do that too in the rare occasion that I mean, like I'm wearing shoes to the gym, right? Or, whatever. So I do sock. No, I don't know. I think I do
You
sock,
go sock,
shoe.
sock, shoe, shoe. Probably. That's what I've been doing for
I'm
years.
very efficient. I have to do sock. I mean, everything's at
Naturally,
once.
yeah.
That's how efficient I am.
Yeah,
German.
efficient.
Weren't we talking about being German?
Yeah, German engineering over here. This Gavin Jackson, baby.
Slaps at a car. Not anymore, baby.
No, not anymore.
Not anymore.
No, Japanese.
Yes,
Japanese.
Subaru.
Yeah, Subaru.
Speaking of the Subaru.
Yeah, Gavin.
It's been taking me places I didn't know it existed.
Yeah, so not only is this guy hiking, he's hiking, folks, okay? He has he's realized
hack.
He realized a favorite part of hiking. And Gavin, this isn't nature bathing. This isn't being in the outdoors communing with Mother Gaia. What is your number one favorite?
The best part about hiking, yeah, like you said, it's not being with nature.
No.
It's not the solitude and disconnecting,
no.
touching earth, or being reliant on yourself and your surroundings. No,
Those
the
are
best,
all great.
The best part about hiking
Yeah.
is that I get to have some candy.
The snacks,
I get the snacks on hiking. No one tells you about the snacks.
I just learned about this. I love
You
this.
guys
for
are going to do it. It's going to be so wild. So I've been hiking this past week a lot more. I mean, I've been doing a lot of walks around the neighborhoods and such, but I've discovered Sesquicentennial Park off Two Notch Road. I now am a member of the state parks because instead of paying $6 every time, I got the passport for the year. It's $100. It's great, $99.
Listen to all these hikes this guy.
And I got some lined up too because I'm getting ready to go hike the Cascades in Washington State with my brother and my sister-in-law. So I got to get these legs in shape.
This is the Subaru talking. This is the Subaru.
So there's a great 6-mile trail out at Sesqui.
Yeah.
So I've been taking my pack.
Yeah.
Put a bunch of crap on the pack just to weigh it down. I've been rucking. I always talk trash about rucking. Now I'm doing it, but like at least I'm doing it because I'm going to be going somewhere. But I was talking to my brother Colin, my fraternal twin brother, and he mentioned to me
he has no podcast,
and he doesn't have one. But he was telling me what they do when they hike and all the hacks and stuff and like hydration and blah blah blah, all these things that I'm adapting now. But one of the best things he said was, he's like, oh, and also I just keep like some Nerds rope with me and some candy with me. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, keep the blood sugar going, keep it constant. I was like,
red number 5
awesome.
levels up. Yeah,
yeah.
Great.
So I got myself some Sour Patch Kids and some dots. I'm just chomping along. And honestly, like
dots.
You keep it. It was 3 for $5
dots.
At Walgreens
what
the other day.
Year is it? 1957.
When you look at the ounces you get, when you look at how many dots you get per package,
this is more German efficiency.
You don't even want to know what goes on in this brand.
This is good. Yeah.
So I love the Sour Patch watermelon.
I just love that, like...
And then dots.
The Sour Patch Watermelon is an elite candy. It is a great candy. I truly do love that, like, when he first mentioned the candy and the snacks to me, I'm like, trail mix, Gorp, no. We're talking mainstream candies that you're just noshing on while you're walking around a little bit.
I got this... The pack that I have has like hip pockets, so it's so convenient.
You're staying strapped.
I got my phone. I also have my knife ready because there's a potential killer dog still on the loose.
The killer's out
in the area. I don't know if you heard that story about that one hiker out at Harbison.
Yeah.
But 2 pit bulls almost killed this man.
Yeah.
Mauled him almost to near death, and luckily someone came by with a gun, an off-duty officer. They found one of the dogs. Another is still on the loose.
One
so
remains.
I am constantly alert. You're not supposed to walk with
But that was
AirPods
you anyway.
In.
That was you anyway.
I'm constantly aware.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah. He's always clocking egresses and ingresses.
Honestly, not entirely inaccurate. That's the day and age we live in. But no, you can't hike with. You're not supposed to hike with headphones, especially on this trail because it is a mountain biking trail.
The bears like the music too much.
I've been leaving snacks for the deer.
Sure, you gotta be friends. Absolutely. Well, speaking of friends, folks, we're glad you're our friends.
Thank you.
We're gonna be gone for 2 weeks. I'm gonna be in New Jersey and Rhode Island at my brother's wedding. But please call in. We love you so much. And
share some hiking stories. Yeah. Share some. I don't want to say.
How do you put your shoes on?
How do you put your shoes on? I'm not gonna say feet stories.
Yeah.
Tell us about your routine.
What's your shoe putting on routine? Is it weird like mine? I don't know.
Trying to be alone, Jiminy Click.
Yeah,
you're wearing shoes. I didn't notice you were wearing shoes.
Why would you do that? Anyway, Gavin, please do the outro. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. Please save us from ourselves by calling 803-563-7169. You might just get in the wind down. You probably will. And you can always show us your appreciation by leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts. And you can stay up to date with the latest news on scetv.org and southcarolinapublicradio.org. And don't forget to support your local newspapers. The South Carolina Lede is a production of South Carolina Public Radio. Our producer is A.T. Shire. Amy Crouch is our supervising producer. Sean Birch is our executive producer. Amanda Allen is our intern. This podcast is produced with support from PRX and is made possible in part by a grant from the John S. and James L. Knight Foundation, as well as listener contributions to the ETV Endowment of South Carolina. For the South Carolina Lede, I'm Gavin Jackson. Be well, South Carolina. Bro.
Should I put the toenail thing at the end of the episode? Yeah.